as, they booked in traffic. I think that New York City, the day was due to fly over, they'd played at Chicago. So they flew into their own airport near their own training ground. He then had to make a mad dash across Manhattan to get his flight to London. Missed the flight. Now, in which case, every other probably Premier League kid would have just turned around and gone home and gone, fair enough. That's that. So keen to join up. He paid for the flight out of his own pocket. Got the first flight out the next morning. Travelled over to meet, got the England team up, joined up with them, acquitted himself very well. And you'll love him even more now because he's come over this time, despite the fact carrying an injury. So whereas some of our senior players,
that's it. So many England players get a bad rap, don't they? You think, they're not bothered about the three lines. They're not. It doesn't mean anything to them. They're just turning up for whatever they're turning up for. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear stories like that where the kid's desperate to play.
And I'll tell you what, I think he's 50-50 for the game. I think AD's confident they can get him fit in time for the game in Ukraine. But despite that, he's going to travel to Ukraine with a squad so he can continue bonding with them and getting to know the players and how England works and stuff. Because he's a new boy coming into it all. And, so that's fair play. You can't the commitment he's showing is fantastic. And he's not a better player either. He's obviously been schooled at New York City where he's played alongside only a few odd players you might not have heard of, like Pirlo and Lampard.
They were all right, weren't they? They were all right. I think there were another centre midfielder, manager. What was his name? Vieira or something? He were all right, weren't he?
Someone, yeah. And he was telling us last time he used to have competitions with Lampard on who could make each other the most. And you just went, blimey. He's not short of confidence or talent by the sound of it.
No, absolutely. And as well as that, character building. A lot of these young lads, they've been mollycoddled for a long period of time. He's obviously gone out there. He's out there. Okay, maybe he's out there with his family, but he's living in a place that's not his natural habitat, and he's making his way in his life. I'm sure he's got a lot thicker skin than a lot of normal lads his age.
Well, I'll tell you what, it takes some courage to leave Man United Academy at 14.
Yeah.
And embark on a different route in your career. How many British parents or parents of other British youngsters, English youngsters, will go pull him out of the academy and be brave enough to do it. Look, it's worked. We'll never know what would have happened if it had stayed at Man United Academy. I think he was roughly in the same age group as Rashford, so he knows like him from when he was there. But we've never known whether Jack Harrison would have made it had he stayed at Man United, or whether he'd been consigned to the scrappy. But you get the feeling that whatever happens, it'll be all the better for his experience. I mean, we send us back his education, and I think he wants to be a scientific. We said to him, if you hadn't been a footballer, what would you be? And a standard answer for most English youngsters is, maybe PE teacher.
Yeah.
Or agent or something like that.
Or if you're Peter Crouch, you answer that as a virgin. That's the best answer I've ever heard for that question.
I agree. The best, and that was a day when I think Match and Shoot and Goal magazine all had to close them questionnaires because you never would have got a better answer than that again. but this one, I mean, young Jack Harrison was quite surprising, and again, had to sort of Googling and to see what the job was, and he said scientific librarian.
What a lad. What a lad! This is it. Yeah. You can't help but be more intrigued by him when you hear stuff like
absolutely.
That.
And sort of obviously he's been fostered in American sport as well. So the way he deals with the media, there's no sort of hands. There's no walking through the mix zones with big earphones on and looking at his mobile phone and turning down interviews.
Good lad.
He's happy to talk, and he's a polite young lad. To be fair, most of them, and certainly ones we deal with in the under-21 squad, like hand on heart, it's not a bad egg amongst them.
Good. Fingers crossed he gets himself fit and we get to see him doing his thing against Ukraine. Listen, just on to the seniors, because we're going to be witnessing a bit of VAR. I love that. I love it, these acronyms that we use for video technology and what have you in the game against Germany. What's your opinion on it, mate?
Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? I'm not sure, because I can't help thinking that sometimes, yes, the game's got to move on with the times, and when you go to, look, for example, it's all right saying when you go to cricket and rugby, it makes the game more interesting. That's mainly because a lot of people don't really understand cricket and rugby, a lot of football sport. So that bit is one bit to understand. Oh, it's gone to the video, yes or no. I'm just not sure it works sometimes with football. I just wonder as well, like a case like there's a story come out tonight that Millwall have called for an overhaul of the FA's review system because they've had a red card appeal rescinded when even the referee said it should have been a yellow. So sometimes we all see, you can watch a video, as we saw last weekend at Manchester City, Sterling goes down, is it a penalty? After people say yes, after people say he was diving. How are you going to sort of get around this? We've come so used to this phrase, which I hate, or if it was a penalty, it was contact. It's a contact sport. It doesn't mean it should always result in a penalty. So it's very difficult. I'm sure there'll be a few wrinkles with it and stuff. And look, if it goes for England and we're winning, we'll all say it's great. If it goes against us, we'll all demand it's been consigned to the dustbin.
As well as that, the majority of the chat this week has been about players pulling out of the England squad. You've just mentioned the determination of the lads in the under-21s, in particular Jack Harrison, wanting to play for the Three Lions. Then you've got lads that are pulling out left, right and centre in the senior squad. It's a bit of a bad day. I mean, obviously they're claiming injuries and stuff like that, but the cynics amongst us, and I'm one of those cynics, would say you're playing for a top club, you want to rest before you go back to your club before the Premier League kicks back off. That's what I'd think.
I don't think you're far wrong. I mean, I can see why the players are doing it as well. That's the thing, because they've had busy start of season, busy months. They've qualified for the World Cup. I think some of it is, if you like, poor planning by the FA. Maybe they should gauge the reaction of players and clubs more, and maybe do a training camp, which Gareth Southgate would probably benefit more from than what he's going to learn from these two friendlies now that so many players have pulled out. I was at Tottenham at the weekend when Harry, I said before the game, watch Harry Kane come off 80 minutes. I was 5 minutes wrong, 75. But then he come out and said he wanted to play, and he was determined. In fact, he went against his manager Mauricio Pochettino's comment by saying he wanted to play in both games, and he would be happy to. And then, obviously, a few hours later, or the following day, he pulled out the squad. Now, I'm not knocking Harry because I think some players have earned the right, if you like.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's anything to do with the players. I think it is the clubs. The clubs are like, well, listen,
have the rest. But then you got, Tottenham also in the absurd situation of Dele Alli. When we went, nobody knew he was being pulled out. We went to the press conference before the game against Crystal Palace at Tottenham. Was told he's fine, and why shouldn't he be? He just played against Real Madrid, scored twice, had the game of his life.
Yeah.
We're all expecting to kick on, start against Crystal Palace, turn up Sunday morning. Always suffering the effects of a hamstring injury, or like what they call a posterior muscle, which is probably might have been where they were talking from as well. And but he's pulled out over an injury he suffered more than a week earlier, and he's played a game in between. So how does that make? And you can understand why fans are getting upset by it. Just a bit of clarity, just a bit of transparency. Maybe there should be a bit of, if you like, diligence before from the FA where they go to players. Are you okay to play at the moment, or talking to the managers? Because let's not forget, Tottenham have been great in qualifying, and other clubs have as well. They've all released players in qualifying, which is the main aim, and we've had no problems with that. So maybe they just see this now as come on, to the FA, we've given you our players. There's been injuries along the way as well. Clubs have suffered injuries of players, but now it's not an important game. Excuse me. Can we have just, our players back and a bit of rest? I mean, no coincidence. I think Tottenham's next game's Arsenal.
Exactly.
And if you're Arsene Wenger, you'd be spewing, wouldn't you? Because Arsenal's players, I think most of them have gone away, and that's sometimes down to relationships you foster with managers, club managers. I know Pochettino, they've always been very good with England and the FA, and he developed a lot of players, if you like, under his stewardship for England duty. And maybe this is part of his reward for doing so, if you like. I know it's underhand, I know it's not very fair on those sort of 80 or 90,000 fans who have bought tickets coming to Wembley, and going through all the hassle and the expense of that, looking to see England's top stars, and now it's going to be sort of a lot of players missing.
What do you make of the call-ups? The replacement, should I say?
Yeah, it's just I don't see what else really they could have done in the situation. I think that, once you're left in that situation, you need to look around, find the best who's available. I've got no problems with the call-ups. It'd be, this is their chance, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you like, this might, there've been some of them, if you like Jack Cork, an unexpected lifeline. He might have thought he was well down the pecking order, and he probably will end up being. But I tell you what, he has a stormer against Germany and Brazil, has a John Barnes moment.
Yeah.
And then, he's in possession of the shirt and suddenly those players who have opted out might be thinking, well, is that a mistake? We'll have to wait and see.
Hey, Paul, just before I let you clear off, you might not know about this story, so I'm going to share it with you. Have you heard of a geezer called Paul Bastock?
No, but go on.
Right, check this out. So Paul Bastock, he's going to be breaking Peter Shilton's record, right? It's one of the greatest world records in football. It's about to be
hanging off a bunk bed, is it?
No. The geezer's 47 years old, right? He's a goalkeeper, obviously, from Leamington Spa. Wednesday, so today, Paul Bastock will equal former England goalkeeper Peter Shilton's 1,249 appearances when he starts for Wisbech at Sleaford Town. The former Boston United player will make appearance number 1,250. There you go, sunshine.
I'll tell you what, there's a beating art of football right there.
There you go.
And if you see how strong our non-league and amateur game is, and it's due to, if you like, the part-time warriors like that, and then they're the heartbeat of the game.
Absolutely.
And it's all very well. I'd like to think that the FA somewhere would notice this, and surely they're going to reward him. Because it deserves to be rewarded, this, doesn't it?
Needs a golden cap or something from the FA or something, definitely.
I'll tell you what, they could have played him against Germany or Brazil, couldn't they?
An England call-up. That'd be brilliant, yeah, absolutely.
The one man who wanted to play for England.
Absolutely.
It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Mate, superb. Listen, you enjoy your flight, bud. Enjoy the under-21s, and I'll catch you next week, no doubt. Paul Jiggins, out to Ukraine to go and watch the England under-21s, and I've no doubt we'll be keeping you up to date with that throughout the course of the week. And, of course, as we head towards the seniors taking on Germany and Brazil over the weekend.
Match stats on TalkSport with Barclays. Did you know Romelu Lukaku has now scored on his Premier League debut for 3 different clubs?
And Lukaku from close range heads in.
Or that Wayne Rooney's now been involved in 300 Premier League goals?
Rooney!
Think you know your match stats? Listen all next week for your chance to win fantastic